Hi, it's Karen, and it's Sunday, October 23rd. It's the 23rd Sunday after Pentecost, and I'm in this lovely place called Cannon Beach, Oregon. Um, Behind me is the Pacific Ocean. I thought it was an interesting setting to read the scripture and just to have a short word. I'm here as part of my doctoral program, and it's been an interesting week. It's part of the reason why I haven't gotten many of the things that I try to do during the week accomplished. So this morning I'm going to read to you scripture. The first one comes from 2 Samuel chapter 7, verses 1 through 17. When David finally settled into the palace and Yahweh gave him rest from enemies on every side, he said to the prophet Nathan, "Here I am living in this house of cedar while the ark of God sits in a tent." Nathan replied to David, "Go do whatever you have in mind, for Yahweh is with you." That night the word of Yahweh came to Nathan and said, "Go tell my servant David that this is what Yahweh wants. Are you to be the one to build me a temple? I have been without a temple from the day I brought the Israelites up out of Egypt to this day. I have been moving from place to place with a tent as my dwelling place. Wherever I traveled with the people of Israel, did I ever say to the governors whom I commanded to shepherd my people Israel, 'Why have you not built a temple made out of cedar?' Now then, tell my servant David, this is what Yahweh Omnipotent says. I took you from the pastures and from following sheep to be the ruler of my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you want, and I destroyed all your enemies in your path. I will give you fame like the fame of the great ones on earth. I will provide for my people Israel. I will plant them where they will have a house of their own, a place where they will never be disturbed. Never again will the sinners oppress them as they did in the past, ever since the time I appointed judges to lead my people Israel. I will give you security from all your enemies. Furthermore, I alone will establish your house. And when your time comes and you rest with your ancestors, I will raise up your offspring to succeed you. Your successor will come from your own body, and I will establish your dynasty. It is you who will build a temple to honor my name, and I will establish your throne for an eternal dominion. I will be mother and father to you and will be my child. When you err, I will use the rod as my parent, as any parent would, and not spare the rod. But I will never withdraw my love as I withdrew it from your predecessor Saul, whom I removed from my presence. Your family and your dynasty will last forever." Nathan reported to David everything, all the words, and the entire revelation. And from our gospel, Luke chapter 1, verses 30 through 33, the angel went on to say to her, "Don't be afraid, Mary. You have found favor with God. You'll conceive and bear a son and give him the name Jesus, Deliverer. His dignity will be great, and he will be called the only begotten God. God will give Jesus the judgment seat of David, his ancestor, to rule over the house of Jacob forever, and his reign will never end." It's been an interesting week, and I haven't processed a lot yet. But one of the things I've been sure of has been that it's not about me, and thankfully so, that God works with us and gives us the legacy that will continue to establish God's work in this world. It's a relief because it means I don't have to do it all. It's kind of disappointing sometimes because I'm not able to see all the great things that my grandsons will see or my children see. But all you have to do is look at this view and hear the sounds that I hear and understand that I'm so insignificant. Even David, king of Israel, who was one of God's favored, was insignificant. And in particular for this day, as I continue to consider the role of women in ministry, I recall the words of the angel who says, "Fear not to marry a young girl who had a great burden placed upon her. Great privilege too, but with that privilege was a burden." So when you feel heavy laden, just think about the angel. Fear not, for you are favored by God. I think this is going to be it for me today. It's not quite 8 o'clock. I'm going to get breakfast in a few moments and then do some work for the kingdom, I hope. God bless you and keep you. May God continue to smile upon you and give you peace. Bye.